in today's video I will show you how to use PickerController in iOS and register for activity result in Android to capture photo, save it to your local storage as well as display it inside an image view. So this is an easier approach. In last video I have showed you how to use camera X as well as preview view, but that is more customizable and you can do any sort of customization on every frame of the image which is been displayed. But in this it will just open the camera app which is present on your phone, capture photo and display it inside your image view. So I have created a default React Native project, and to enable the new architecture what I will do is that you have to search for new arc enabled for Android. So I will just search for new arc enabled and go to gradle.properties, make this as true. And for iOS you have to run this command. So once you run yarn Android or yarn iOS, you should see fabric colon true in metro bundler, which means then new architecture has been enabled inside your React Native application. And next what we will do is that we have to create this folder first, RTN my camera. Inside that create an Android folder and a JS folder, and this is a turbo module. Okay, so if you want you can go through this docs, but I won't go through these docs because I have already gone it multiple times in my previous video. So first create Android folder and JS folder. Inside JS folder create a file called native mycamera.ts, and then I have taken created one method called take photo. Everything else has been copied from documentation and this file name has been changed over here. Next you have to create package.json, which is a sibling to your JS folder. Again everything copied from documentation, only this file name has been changed over here. This has been changed and this has been changed. Next I have created this podspec file, again copied from documentation, but this file name has been changed. Next inside Android I have created a build.gradle file, again copied it from documentation. Only this apply plugin Kotlin Android has been added, as well as namespace has been changed, and we have added Kotlin standard lib. Next go to src and I have created my camera package.kt. again this has been copied from documentation entirely, only this file name has been changed. And I have created my camera module.kt. so here you can see that I am first asking for the camera permission as well as write external storage, because we require it if you are using Android P or less than Android P. And here inside the take photo activity I am requesting the permission. So once you request the permission, the control moves to the main activity, and here is the name for it. So what you have to do is that you have to go to the main Android folder, go to build.gradle and add Kotlin version over here as well as this class path over here. Next you have to go to app, build.gradle, and you have to add this line of Kotlin standard lib, as well as you have to add apply plugin Kotlin Android. Next go to src, go to main, go to Android manifest.xml, and you have to add this permission of camera as well as write external storage, and you have to write this provider as well, this thing, because this is required from Android Nougat. Next go to res, create an XML folder, and inside that create providers underscore part.xml, and you have to write this. So this is boilerplate code. Next go to Java. Now here you might be seeing main activity.java, but I have converted this file to Kotlin, so you can just open the main Android folder in Android Studio, and Android Studio gives you an option in the tools to convert a Java file to a Kotlin file. So yeah, that's what I have done. And the extra bit of code which I have added is I have added this request code permission as well as this required permissions. And here once you request the camera permission, the control moves over here, and I am checking whether all permission has been granted or not. So I have created this boilerplate method, and if all permission has been granted, then I am opening the camera. If not, I am sending a toast message, but if you want you can do this as well, something like this. So once open camera is called, so here you can see we are creating a file as well as an URI and calling the take picture.launch URI method. So here you can see I'm calling the register for activity result, and once the take picture opens the camera and the picture is saved, it moves over here, and here I am sending back the URI back to the React Native side. So once you get the URI, you can't just use the image view from React Native side to display it using the URI property. You have to use a native image view again. So what I have done is I have created this RTN my image, created again an Android folder and a JS folder. Inside JS you have to define RTN my image native component.ts. Again I have copy pasted this from documentation. I am giving a prop as image URL which we have received from the native side to React Native, and again we will pass it from React Native to native side, and this file name has been changed. And in again I have created this package.json, copied it from documentation. Only this file name has been changed over here and over here, and this pod spec has been created. Again this file name has been changed, rest everything else is the same. And now in Android you have to go to build.gradle. Again copied it from documentation, but I have added a Kotlin Android plugin. Namespace has been changed, added Kotlin standard lib, as well as I have added this coil dependency. So coil is used to load images on using URI, local URI as well as network URI on the native side, so that we don't have to write a lot of code. Then in src main Java I have created my image package.kt. Again this has been copied from documentation. Then we create my image manager.kt. Again this has been copied from documentation, but here we are passing the image URL prop. Once we get the prop, here you can see we are using the load method from the coil library to load the image, and you can scale it however you want. Now inside my image.kt we are just extending from app compat image view. So yeah, that's it. Okay, that should be it. Next what you have to do is you have to open your terminal, and inside the root of your React Native project first run yarn add dot slash rtn my image, then run yarn add dot slash rtn my camera. Okay, once you do that, then you have to do cd dot dot. So here you can see cd dot dot. So you have to do cd dot dot, so it will move you outside your React Native project, and then you have to fire these two commands. Okay, the only change which you will have to do in this commands is make sure this should be your project name, main project name. So in my case it is my app, which you can see over here, but change it according to whatever you have, and this folder name should also be changed. So here in my case it is rtn my image and it is rtn my camera. That's what I am using. Next, for Android there is one more step. So you have to cd to your main Android folder. So cd to your main Android folder, and you have to run this. So this will do code generation for Android as well. Okay, and for iOS you have to cd to your iOS directory, and you have to run this. So it will create pod of rtn my image as well as rtn my camera. Okay, once that is done, so for iOS all the code will be written in the main iOS folder. So first you have to write this event emitter.h. So yeah, this I have just copy pasted it from Google, as well as event emitter.m. Okay, next inside you can create this Swift file. For now my camera.swift. So once you create, and make sure you open this iOS folder in Xcode. Don't do all the changes in VS Code, otherwise you might face issues. Next, once you create a Swift file via Xcode will ask, do you want to create a bridging header? Click yes, and this bridging header will be created, and inside that you have to add this hashtag import event emitter.h. Next, create another Swift file called myimage.swift, and here you can see that I am just creating I am extending UI view, and inside that I am creating UI image view, and it requires a URL, right? But here in this case, in iOS case, once an image has been captured from camera, we will be sending the local identifier and to React Native side, and that local identifier would be sent it to the native side again over here. So this will be a local identifier. It is a poor naming on my side, but you can change it to local identifier if you want to. Then once we get the local ID, we are actually using the photos library to get the actual photo using that local ID. And over here, here you can see, and once we get the actual image, we are displaying it inside our image view. And this is the init code. Here we are creating object of image view, adding it to our UI view, and then doing ns layout code. And this is a required code for creating a custom component. Next, what you have to do is go to my app, go to info.plist, and here you have to add this permission: camera permission, photo library usage, as well as photo library additionally add usage and photo library usage. Okay, once that is done, we have already done this. Next, we have to create this header file. Again, I have copy pasted it from documentation. Only thing change is this React core umbrella, because we have to use RCT presented view controller, and photos we have to import because we have to use PH photos, and we also require event emitter. That's why I'm using that. And I'm also extending UI navigation controller delegate and UI image picker controller delegate, as these are required for opening the default camera app. Next, I am extending rtn camera.mm. Again, I have copy pasted this from the documentation. So to open the camera, capture the photo, and sending back, saving it to our photos and sending back the local identifier, I have done everything this in Objective-C. I have tried this using Swift as well, but unfortunately the camera won't open if you write this entire code in Swift. I will show you the Swift code as well. Here you can see I was using the Swift code here as well as here. I will show you the Swift code as well if you are interested, but it is not working. I'm not sure why, because the camera never opens, which is kind of frustrating. So here you can see again, this has been copied from doc. So you don't require this if you are using everything in Objective-C, but if you are using Swift, this is required. So this should be your bridging header name followed by dash swift.h. Okay, I have defined a local ID string, and once take photo is called, I am opening the camera, and once camera is opened, you will get the image over here. So we are dismissing the camera first, we are getting the image, then here we are getting the permission for photos. Once it is granted, we are saving it to photos library. So this code as well as this code is exactly the same. So if you want, you can move it inside a method as well. And here we are okay, so I think this code is same as well. I don't think we require this code. I think this is by mistake which I have added. I think this is enough. So first, if the permission is already granted, then run this. If the permission is requesting for the first time, then run this. Okay, I'm not sure. I think this is a mistake on my part, but you can just copy paste this entire code over here as well, so it will be the same. Next, inside RTN my image, again I have copy pasted it from docs, but I added this photos as well as this image has been changed. Next, inside over here I am actually using Swift. So here you can see everything is from docs. This file name has been changed over here. Okay, and here we are importing the Swift file. That's why we have to add this import. So bridging header file name followed by dash swift.h, then rtc fabric. You have to comment out this line and write this, because we are writing the entire code in the main iOS folder. And here you can see I have written our my image, which is a Swift file, and here we are creating the object for that Swift file, and view.add subview. And once we get the prop, we are just calling my image.url and sending that local identifier. If you have watched my previous video, I was facing an issue while doing the same thing with the preview view of camera, but I'm not sure why this is working over here. I think it is because the preview view code of capturing the photo and saving it inside the photos app was done via Swift. That might have to be done via Objective-C, I'm not sure, but like I am not going to write that entire code in Objective-C because I already have the Swift code, so I'm not really sure what the issue is. So if you are confused, just watch my previous video and you will know what I am talking about. But it works over here. Okay, and then you have to write this, which is boilerplate, and again this has been copied from documentation, only file name has been changed, as well as this image URL, which is the prop for our app. Next, inside app.tsx I have added Android view if it is Android, otherwise we are using iOS view. So inside Android view, here you can see I have defined a variable, and I am defined a button as well, and inside that I am calling take photo. Once that is called, we are listening for that event emitter, and once we get a result, we are setting it to our image URI, and if the image URI is not null, then we are displaying our image component and passing the image URL as setting the width and height. Similarly for iOS, we have to define an event emitter, which is a native event emitter, and inside the use effect we are listening for that event emitter, and once we get that event emitter, we are setting the value for image URI. And similarly I have taken a button which captures the photo, and if the image URI is not null, we are displaying that image URI. So yeah, that's it. Thank you for watching. Bye.